You are listening to Eat Meat Sparingly, a word of wisdom podcast. I am your host, Ali Essig. Today we have a fun treat. I have my friend Elle and my sister-in-law Elise with us. And Elle has some questions about plant-based eating. And while she was asking them, I thought, we need to record this. We need to actually document these questions. My sister-in-law Elise has been like on the 90-10 plant-based train, not completely perfectly vegan, but has been more plant-forward longer than I have. And when my husband had his stroke and we were trying to figure out and navigate this path, she was often someone that I went to for questions. And so Elle has a lot of questions. I thought it would be fun for us together to be able to answer them because I know many of you may have the same. So I'll let Elle take it from here.
If you're like me, this might be a scary world to get into. So today we're going to get into the gritty with it and hopefully answer some of these things that you may be wondering about this. And let's start with that 90-10 ratio. Is that okay? Can we not be all in? Is it all right to sometimes dabble in dairy?
To dabble in dairy.
Absolutely. Yeah, I don't think that going all in on something can be really daunting. It can be also, a big deterrent for a lot of people. And I personally try to take the pressure off and just let it be okay when I'm not perfect. And honestly, with 4 little kids, like I have to be okay with that. It's not a perfect thing at all.
Yeah. And I felt the whole time in the word of wisdom, it says you can eat meat sparingly. So I really felt, while there's a lot of benefits to eating and going completely vegan, and I very much honor those who do. For me, I am not an all or nothing person. I almost rebel against like, you have to be like this the rest of your life. I need the Friday night pizza nights. Yeah. I need the, well, and it's not even like I've stopped craving cheese. Like I don't crave the food particular, but I crave the convenience.
Yeah.
Like sometimes, or even just going and visiting friends, having a church activity and letting my kids eat whatever and not stressing about it. It's the stress of it, honestly, to be a little bit more flexible takes a lot of the pressure off of this change.
Right. And that leads really well into my next question this is obviously not the most restrictive diet like keto or paleo or something like that, but it is a more restricted than your standard American diet. Do you ever feel the restraint of that? Like straitjacket of what's for dinner? Like, does it feel flexible enough to make it doable for a family?
Yeah, I feel like for me, like we talked about, that flexibility has to be there. I've never looked at it in any other way. And so as far as restriction, I try not to look at it that way. I look at it as what good things can I add to my diet. And so and I look at that for my kids as well.
Full.
Yes, yeah.
Not what I take out, but what can I add more of?
Yes. Can I get them more fruits, more vegetables, more fiber? Not what can they not eat? What am I going to restrict today and say no to? So
yeah, I love that.
That's a perspective.
It's very positive.
No, it's so true. It really is. It's more about even being creative. I think the joy that I found in this is the fact that I used to have cheese all the time in my fridge, and I used to make a cheese quesadilla for lunch like every day for my kids. And now I'm like, okay, what can I do that's just as fast, just as easy, but is better for them? And I'm like, okay, I have a can of beans, I have a tortilla, and I have salsa. Salsa burrito sandwich. Like I can do things that are just as simple, and it's actually kind of fun. It's kind of fun to veganize our classic dishes, and they just feel so much better in my body that it makes it worth it.
So along with that, I feel like sometimes at the regular grocery store, sometimes it feels like they only have so much produce. Do you feel like there's a lot of repeat, the boring, like you end up eating the same things over and over again? I would die if every meal was rice and beans. I couldn't do it. Do you feel like there's enough variety?
By the way, I'm serving rice and beans for my family right now for dinner. Downstairs, they're all eating rice and beans.
What's wrong with that?
Once in a while. It took me 5 minutes to put together, to be fair. I put them in my Instant Pot. It's so easy. But no, there is plenty of variety. But I will say kids are kids. And I have a daughter that loves cucumbers. I'm always buying cucumbers and carrots and apples and oranges and bananas. Those are the basics. And guess what? They're really good for you. And so I would much rather serve them that than like fishies or other go-to processed foods, because I don't have them in my home. Then they are eating the boring apples and the oranges, but they're at least, whole plant foods. And so that feels good. But the variety, I always look at it before we went plant-based, I made the same thing a lot too. How many times did I make mac and cheese and chicken nuggets? Like all the time. And so, you're going to find for us, like the new mac and cheese chicken nuggets is rice and beans because my kids love it. And you'll make whatever your kids love in the end of the day.
Those are the things that repeat. And I feel like the variety, it's interesting. Like for example, for lunches for my kids, I'll take a bento box and we'll do something made. It might be just peanut butter and jam or whatever. But I always try to give them a choice on, okay, what fruit do you want in your lunch? And I might have 3 different kinds in the fridge, and I just shout them out, and they say what they want and what vegetable do you want in your lunch. And so we always make sure we get a fruit and a veggie with it, and a couple of other random little things if we have them. But I feel like it's probably more variety than my kids would eat
normally
otherwise.
Yeah.
So I don't know.
So speaking on kids, not everybody has kids, but it can be a challenge when you have a family. How do you feel your kids transitioned into this, away from huge sources of calories like cheese and chicken? How do you feel they handled that change?
My oldest daughter would ask, like, hey, can you buy more chicken nuggets? And I just was like, oh yeah, next time. I never made it like, this is what we're doing, we will never have those foods ever again. Like, it was never anything like that.
Slow phase out.
It was a very slow phase out. I didn't throw anything away. I stopped kind of using it. And sometimes I still buy plant-based chicken nuggets, because sometimes you just have those days. And now that I learned that they're way healthier than regular chicken nuggets, I'm like, sweet, I'll buy them. They're not a group 1 carcinogen. Okay, I'll give that to my kids. But in general, it's just better to not have that extreme. This is what we're doing. You have no choice. It's just, oh, hey, yeah, sorry, I don't have any cheese sticks or pretzels. How about you get an orange? Like, maybe I'll get that next time. But it's never this is for sure the way. And it was just slow and easy. And a lot of times I was making the same recipes I made before, but instead of chicken, I would use chickpeas. Or I'm making lasagna, but it's instead of ricotta, I'm making like a tofu ricotta, and it has some hummus in it. And it tastes really good. Like they don't really notice, especially when they're young, because we're sticking with the pastas and the rice. Like the kids love carbs.
Filler foods.
Yeah, the filler foods. Right.
So be honest. Do your children on their own choice choose to follow this diet outside of your home?
No.
I actually have a mix there, but my older kids, no. So I was actually thinking, when you were talking about transitioning, my kids were all really young when I started kind of discovering the word of wisdom in a different way. And so a lot of them never had to transition per se. They just, that's what was. So now I'm actually experiencing like the opposite of Ali, where my kids now, my oldest is 12 and second oldest is 10, and they're kind of experiencing the world outside of mom's kitchen and developing new tastes and new things that they really like. And they're requesting things now that we haven't had before. And again, I just try to keep that balanced approach. Do I feed them that every night? No. But yes, sometimes we buy the Chick-fil-A Costco chicken nuggets, and that's what's for a meal. And I just try to keep that mental health in mind too, of like, don't want to be super restrictive. Now, I have done plenty of that. I'm not perfect at the mental and emotional side of it, but just trying to find the balance.
And I think, what a lot of people don't understand, I've seen Elise through all the stages. I saw her when she was very restrictive, when her first was just little.
Have so much control.
And she had all the control, and she would read every label and was like, oh, nope, that's food dyes, you can't have that. Or where she could do that. Yeah. And so it is kind of cool to see her progression over time as she's kind of taking a step back. I think the longer you're in this game, right? They're not, you realize your kids, you can't force your kids to make all these decisions. You can teach them correct principles, let them govern themselves. And also you don't want to, like, so for birthday parties, we'll buy pizza. My one request is no pepperoni. You pick and choose. But I just went to Mexico to an all-inclusive resort for a YouTube conference, and I brought my oldest daughter, and she had Diet Coke with every single meal, like including breakfast. I was dying inside. And she would get like steak, and she'd get all things, and I just let her. She was like, well, I gotta do it, I can't have it at home. But I'm like, maybe this isn't the best thing. But in general, I was like, no, I'm gonna let her have it, because I want her to experience what it feels like. And I think that's it too. You fall in love with this way of eating because of how you feel in your body. And sometimes you do need to almost experience, because again, it's not a moral issue. I think when you grow up in the church and you're teaching your kids correct principles and moral issues, like, you don't want them to sway. But with food, it's not a moral thing. And it's just, I want you to feel good. I want you to have better energy, and I want you to notice that difference. And how are they ever going to notice it unless in your home and what they eat day in and day out, and then they can finally see that difference in what they.
I like being able to give your children that dichotomy and allowing them to experience the correct principles and letting them govern themselves. I think one of the really hard things people have with it is that sense of restriction. And when you grow children with that sense of restriction, then there's the natural tendency to swing so far the other way and have rebellion. So I love that it's not a battlefield for you.
Yeah.
It is just kind of simply, this is the way that our family does it. And it's completely fine that somebody else doesn't do it this way. Or if you want to experience that, I think it's a beautiful concept.
Yeah, and some may feel that, I would say, looking in at my family, oh, you are fighting that battle and you are restrictive, right? Because there are times where I'm like, oh, nope, this is what we're having or this is what we're doing. But for me, I don't know, as an encouraging side note, maybe for people who are starting with younger kids, I notice my third child actually prefers to eat this way. And so I don't know, I'm like, you know what, if the battle is for her only, like, that's enough. That's fine for me. I don't know.
And I feel that way with my twins they were 9 months old when we went plant-based. And so they're very much, and even Emmeline, my fourth, she really prefers these foods. She'll beg for, get cantaloupe, please, and love, but she'll eat a mango like an apple. Like I will find it, like she
asked for like 4 potatoes at dinner.
Yes.
Like, can you have another potato? Can I have another potato? It's like, of course.
Yeah.
Like, I love that they love these foods and they crave them. So yeah, I agree. Like the younger you start, the more that just is normal for them. And I have a son that he'll just get a can of beans and be like, can you open this? And that's his like after school snack is literally just beans.
More power to you.
Yeah,
I know.
And even with my older kids who would choose something else over, the amount of vegetables that my 10-year-old eats is incredible. That's like his favorite food group.
Right.
He'll grab a handful of raw spinach and just throw it in his mouth and put it down. And I'm like, okay, you would never be exposed to that perhaps somewhere else. And so I am
so
grateful.
much as like family cultural adjustment.
Right.
So to bring it back into kind of a more like lifestyle question here, we'll get into the cut to the quick part. Sometimes eating more whole foods, organic foods, a lot of produce-based things, quality costs. So do you feel like it is harder on the wallet to live this diet?
I buy like organic wild blueberries, the frozen ones. It's like $16 sometimes for the bag. This is crazy. But I'm not buying dairy. I'm not buying cheese. I'm not buying meat. Like
the meat is where it kind of averages out, I feel like. Because meat is also expensive, especially to feed a family of 6. And then also just along with that, I don't overly concern myself with the quality necessarily. I hate to say that because to an extent I do. I will buy organic when it makes sense, when it's a reasonable cost or it's available to me, but I'm not going to prioritize as my number one priority. I'm going to first look at, okay, how do I get these really beneficial micronutrients and this fiber into me? Whether or not it's organic, I'm just going to kind of overlook that part slightly because I do still feel like that benefit outweighs the risk.
She's saying I don't have to go to only Whole Foods and have the guilt that I'm at.
I don't
buying a cucumber.
I don't have to go to
Right. And I could choose Whole Foods and I'm not, or even Trader Joe's. I don't even do Trader Joe's. People are like, what?
I do.
I know. I mean, I'll go occasionally, but it's just like, to me, it's so easy to go to my grocery store. I'm not going to buy organic strawberries over regular strawberries. I'm not going to buy it's a cost thing. And I at least want them eating strawberries and I'll wash them. Like, and that takes care of most of it. It's not a quality. Like to me, it's quantity over the quality because you get so many benefits that the risks really very much like are nothing compared to the benefits of actually getting sufficient fiber. 95% of Americans are not getting enough fiber. And if you can give that gift to your children, just increasing their fiber intake by 10%, which 1 in 10 like children actually get the recommended fruits and vegetables a day, and doing that will decrease their risk of dying early by all causes by like anywhere between 10 to 12%.
Yeah.
So it's a huge gift, and it doesn't have to be organic to give that to your children.
Yeah. I love that. I think one of the biggest challenges that personally I face going into more of a plant-based diet is I don't feel satiated after most meals. You know, you get a lot of that fullness aside from fiber through fats and through protein in your body. So do you find that your family is satisfied after a fully plant-based meal?
I've often said to people who are kind of trying to transition that you may find that you have to eat more frequently, and that can be hard for some people. But I think Ali, I'll let her talk because she does a really good job at finding things to make sure that it's really filling. I've heard her mention it several times since we've been here, like, oh, this is so filling.
Yeah.
So I think she's discovered some really good ways. So I'll let her.
But I think a lot of it is every time you look down at your plate. So like dinner, they all were at our house for family dinner yesterday. And instead of just the meal itself, like we made soup, lasagna soup, which is like my go-to to feed people who aren't plant-based that they'll like. But we made that, and instead of just doing that with bread, it's like, okay, we'll add another vegetable, so a salad, and then we'll add fruit. So I always make sure that there's a fruit, a vegetable, a whole grain, or even if it's regular pasta, like some type of carb, and then some type of protein. And that lasagna soup, while it doesn't have meat, it does have a ton of lentils. It's like what thickened it. And so it's that protein from lentils are a fantastic source, and it doesn't have to look like the protein that we're used to. Lentils are fantastic. So I try to make sure that it fits that formula. Is there a fruit? Is there a vegetable? Is there a whole grain? Is there a protein source?
Yeah.
And when you do that, you're so satiated. And on top of that, I added potatoes. Like I could always just add potatoes to anything, and then I'm super full. So yeah.
I would say with the exception of breakfast, I'm looking at it that way as well. I kind of look at it as a main that includes some sort of protein. I often look at plant proteins once in a while. It's not. Yeah. And then the like getting that fruit, vegetable, hopefully whole grain, that sort of mentality is a good way to look at it.
Do you find it's hard to source recipes? Where do you get a lot of your recipes from, your inspiration for cooking in this sense?
I started by my go-to recipes, like how can I make this plant-based? And, because that was just an easy way. So like cashew chicken became cashew chickpeas. Then I just like, that was the fun part almost. It's like, ooh, sushi. I have never thought of making sushi ever because gross, raw fish, like in my house, like I would be terrified, right? I'll go get it, but like at a store, but never would I do it at my house. So it's like, well, how can I make sushi if I crumble tofu and add soy sauce, bring some flavor? Then I could do rice. I could do mangoes. Oh my gosh, it's so yummy. Mm-hmm. I could do avocados and peppers. And so it became this fun challenge. Like all my kids are obsessed with my vegetarian sushi because it's so yummy, so filling. And so it just became like, well, what can I try next? Like it's almost like people think it's so restrictive, but for me, it was almost like I opened up this door to a whole new world of like tastes and flavors and opportunities, because now I'm making so many Indian dishes. Like dal is one of our favorite things. Like we love dal. I never made dal before. And I'll make mung bean dal. I'll make lentil dal. I'll make chickpea dal, like so many different, although dal is technically lentils, but in general, like those type of curries and Thai food and so many other things that I didn't even really hardly ever have in the past. It was just the typical American meals before that.
Yeah. So sourced from a lot of cultures that this is their natural form of diet. So that's fine if it's in your kitchen, but okay, we don't all just want to cook all the time. What do you do when you go eat out? Can you go to a restaurant and survive keeping yourself in this lifestyle?
Yeah.
What do you eat?
So there's quick food and then there's like sit down restaurants. So quick food, I always choose a bowl. In fact, I was telling a client the other day, I'm like, instead of choosing like mac and beef or whatever it was that she like chose at this restaurant, I'm like, if you can go to a restaurant where there's a bowl, like a salad bowl, you can easily rice bowl, salad bowl. Like the bowls are your friend. You can go to Chipotle, filling. You can do, they're so filling. You can have veggies, and sometimes they'll offer a plant-based protein, but sometimes they won't. Sometimes like they'll have tofu, sometimes it's just beans, sometimes it's just veggies, and it's still really filling. And so I'll do like a Mediterranean bowl, I'll do it like a Mexican bowl, I'll do like a Thai bowl. Like I love that's if I can go to fast casual, like even Cafe Rio, it's the same thing. I just have beans, I just don't add the meat on top. Right. For a sit down restaurant, I kind of prioritize it because we are plant-based for health reasons. So I'm also not going to be perfectly vegan if the vegan option, if the vegetarian option is like covered in dairy. Like I'm like, ugh, I don't want just pasta in like an Alfredo sauce because it's vegetarian. I would probably rather choose salmon in that situation if that's like my only options. Otherwise, I'm going to always like just because I feel better. Like it feels good to choose like the plant-based version, but it's only been literally a handful of times where there wasn't at least like a vegetarian or vegan option. And sometimes I just order sides for me.
Yeah.
I let my kids order whatever they want. So they are very much not plant-based when we go out to eat. Yeah.
I feel like some easy swaps too. A lot of places will let you, like there's a place that I love that will do a salad, and instead of chicken, I'll just sub for avocado, like a fat that will help me feel more full. Or honestly, discovering veggie sandwiches was really amazing when I first started doing this, because I never thought that I would enjoy that. But I feel like most places are trying to dress it up a little bit. Maybe it's a great sauce, or maybe they're putting some interesting vegetables together to make a good flavor. So I feel like that was a really fun find. And then I focus a lot on beans. I do, like as Mexican food, like we talked about. Typically I'll go for something that's kind of bean based, maybe a tostada that's beans, or even a burrito. That's my go-to fast food. If you have one around, is a Del Taco bean and cheese burrito with green sauce. And I don't know, but I was going to say that in my family, part of I don't know if you want to call it our compromise, maybe as a couple and a family, is that we don't worry as much when we're out. That's actually kind of part of our 90-10. I don't really buy a lot of meat to cook at home. Maybe if there's something like my kids really want that's prepackaged or something, I might. But when we go out, I take that no worries approach. And typically, I'm now to the point where I'm still desiring to choose something that's plant-based. But if there is something that I really love, it's really tasty or nostalgic or something, I'm also going to let myself eat it. That's kind of where I'm at.
Yeah. So full disclosure, for all of us who are seriously considering big lifestyle changes, is there anything that's really hard about this? What are the struggles?
Other people's opinions. I was at this YouTube conference and you're talking to other people, and I met another YouTuber who's very successful, but they are very much the opposite of their like strong keto, all this stuff. And I couldn't even have a conversation about YouTube strategy without them like making a jab. You know, like it's like the jab of like, oh, the vegans, oh, that, you know. So I feel like, or even just like jabbing, like, oh, like even this morning when your husband was like, I had bacon and eggs for breakfast, like, and I'm like, that would make me feel ill.
We
like
need to say that.
Just like it's a holier, like it's a better way, because I feel better, like that. I know that it really, I want to live a long, healthy life, and I know bacon's are group 1 carcinogen. So, but it's on this pedestal because it was more expensive for hundreds and hundreds of years to be able to eat meat, and so it really is put on this pedestal the better way. And there's just that judgment of choosing not to.
Do you get reverse judgment as well for people who are like, well, vegans?
Oh, I'm sure I'm gonna get
vegans are holier than that. Vegans think they're better than all of us.
I get a lot of people think I am vegan because I have a vegan YouTube channel, and I actually am posting a video next week that I am showing that I use ranch that has dairy in it, and I'm terrified of the comments I'm going to get.
Bold statement.
They're like, what? That's not vegan. And so, yeah, it definitely goes both ways. Like I get hate, like, and they'll say like suffering is, but I'm like, look, my role, and you have to really know what your personal mission is. And you're like, we're doing it for health reasons, but I also feel personally called to help people help them transition to this lifestyle. And that's what Elise was for me too, of like being that example to feel like, oh, it's totally normal. I could go to Sunday dinner and I don't have to stress that whatever.
A lot of sides.
You just eat a lot of sides. Maybe I can try a little bit of the meat or whatever. But I want this to be approachable for people. I want people to feel like they don't have to be this all or nothing. And it starts by simply not buying dairy and meat at the grocery store. That's all you have to do. Just don't buy it. Challenge yourself. It's going to be a little bit of a learning curve, but then the benefit far exceeds like the sacrifice, like how you feel, the energy, the better receptivity to spirit. Honestly, it's so amazing to have that and to notice that, like you become so much more sensitive. It does kind of ruin you because you do feel more sensitive to things. Like you'll eat like a piece of cake and you're like, ugh, I have a headache now. You'll see the difference in your body for sure.
Yeah. I think a challenge also, and Ali kind of mentioned this before, is convenience. There are times where it's not convenient to start a pot of rice and beans. It's more convenient to pick up a Little Caesars pizza.
Yeah.
Things like that. But I do feel like with the convenience side, I'm always amazed at how little time it actually does take. It's something about it feels like it's going to take you a long time and be a big process, but maybe set a timer and time yourself and see how long it actually takes you to cut up a bell pepper.
A little bit of an experiment.
Yeah, right?
The things like that kind of are barriers that we
give ourselves, right? Psychological barriers.
Exactly.
I think there might be an intimidation factor too with social eating. Like we go to family houses for Sunday dinner or something like that, and navigating that. Might there be some anxiety with going to like your in-laws' house for Sunday dinner and knowing that you eat so differently,
or inviting people?
I think that anxiety drops immensely when you take the approach of the 90-10, and
it's okay.
Yeah,
it's okay.
It's like when I go to someone's home and they're cooking for me, I'm going to eat what they serve me. I might not eat a giant portion of the meat or whatever, but I will eat it. Yeah.
Right.
That's just kind of part of how I've chosen to do it.
Right. And serving other people. It took me a while to be comfortable inviting other people over. Like I remember I hosted a baby shower and I was like, I'm going to make this all plant-based. And then the other hosts were like, no, we're going to have those little ham sliders. We're going to do all that, and I'm like, I'm a failure. And I made like this soup and it had beans in it. And I'll never forget, a woman came, she's like, does it have beans in it? I was like, yes, it does. But it's okay. And I do potluck style most of the time. I'm like, hey, I'm gonna have this and this, and people will bring meat if they really want it. That's fine.
It's fine for
totally fine. Yeah.
Yeah. And we don't have to have the judgment about that.
Right. It doesn't have to be that because you're hosting, you make the meat. Like if other people want it, they can bring it.
Yeah.
You
And
know,
especially where my approach comes primarily from the word of wisdom. I'm like, eat meat sparingly. It follows the rules, right? Like we do eat it sometimes. And that's just, I shouldn't say the rules, but you know,
the
my
rules that
interpretation
of the rules that no one
suggestion.
follows.
More like guidelines.
Exactly.
Right.
My interpretation of the guidelines, it fits within that
Yeah.
for me to go and eat at someone's home or eat out or just those times
Right.
where you need to
Within life.
yeah,
Living
you
life.
need to be flexible. Yeah.
So last question, more honesty, you guys. Really look deeply within yourself. Okay? Do you miss the standard American diet?
I would say no, only because I still allow myself those times that I'm like, I really want.
A
I'll be
cheeseburger.
honest, an In-N-Out burger is
Yeah.
one for me. Like I'm like, that's what
Sometimes
we're
the
having
other
today.
places
And I
have it.
don't have feelings around that. And I
Mhm.
just, I'm like, I feel like In-N-Out and we'll go get In-N-Out because then my kids are like, what the you know?
Yeah.
Yeah.
But so I don't have that problem because when I want it, I feel like I'll still, within reason, I'll still
Right.
go and have that. But
And
can't
honestly,
speak for everyone.
sometimes I'm like the old meals, like my mom, so sweet. She'll sometimes make the old meals for things. And I'm like, it's not as good as I remembered actually.
That
Like,
actually happened a lot of
you
times,
know,
which
like,
is very interesting.
even In-N-Out, it's good, but it's not
Yeah.
as good as I once thought it was. Like
yeah,
to me, what's amazing is when people can make vegetables taste amazing. I'm like,
Yeah.
that's impressive.
that's tough.
That's
That's
impressive.
creativity.
That's creativity. Like
Yeah.
that. And I'll crave it because not only did it taste good, but it like felt good. So while I really have to be careful when I do eat the standard American diet, because I notice like that energy just go.
Mhm.
And again, I never restrict myself. Like there was Aggie ice cream at our family reunion. And so it was like, oh, Aggie ice cream, y'all have it, like nostalgic, right?
Yeah.
I felt terrible afterwards, like terrible. Like just my energy just went, I literally fell asleep on the couch. I just felt like this big slump. And you definitely like, yeah.
That's a bunch of oil.
Yes.
It just always gets me.
Yeah, there's that time. But sometimes I will have, if like a lot of family events, like they'll make some brisket or something. I'm like, oh, that's good.
Yeah.
That's good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And having
You can
just a
choose
little
your
bit fine.
battles.
Yeah.
Yeah, I love that because I think one of the things we struggle with the most is like, is that restriction? Oh, I can't do that. I
Yeah.
can't. Looking at it and being like, it's fine, really, like it's okay. And the majority of the diet having so much health benefit, like you were talking about earlier,
Yeah.
I think it really outweighs the negative as long as you're within control within that.
Mhm.
It's why we have treats,
Yeah.
right? It's a treat. It's not
And
a
you've
a way of
seen that we
living.
need treats.
Yeah, you need treats. And I think it honors animals in the fact that like it does become special. These
Yeah.
animals had lives and we were actually talking earlier because I went to an event where they had no vegetarian option. They only had sandwiches with meat on it. And my friend who's plant-based, she was like, I'm going to take it off. But I also am like, but that animal died. Like that, like,
want to waste
I would
that
almost
either.
just
Throw it
like
away.
waste it, just throw it away. Like, that's alive, you know, so
Yeah.
sometimes I'll eat it in that situation
like,
to
respect,
yeah, out of
almost,
respect of the animal and
Not
honor
be
the animal,
wasteful.
like and not
Yeah.
be wasteful of their flesh.
It's a sacrifice.
Yeah, it was a sacrifice, and just that I appreciate it and honor it, and that life is sacred, every type of life, and so it becomes a special thing. Like it used to be hundreds of years ago, like Christmas, you kill the fatted calf or whatever. Like
Yeah.
it was a
It's a
special
celebration of life.
celebration, things like that.
Yeah.
And sure, there are plenty other ways to celebrate besides killing animals for all the vegans out there. I totally agree. I 100% agree. It's just this is what makes it doable for me. If
Right.
it was extreme or not at all, it would be not at all in my family. I cannot go that extreme. At least I can't yet. Maybe in the future, but
Yeah,
not with
maybe
all
if it was
the
just
kids.
me.
Yeah, if it was just me.
And even then, though, I don't know if I like that approach. So
Yeah.
Yeah, totally.
Well, it's a very compelling argument. I'll leave it to you
just
to
add
decide.
more, add more good.
Yeah, but very compelling argument.
I always say just shift a little bit. It doesn't have
Yeah.
to be extreme. Try to eat an extra fruit and vegetable. It's almost like what can you add in instead of take away?
Right.
Like every time you sit down to
Add
eat,
more good.
Add
Add
more
more
good.
good.
right?
Yeah,
We all can add more good.
We find when we focus on like the daily dozen, I don't know how, have you talked
Mhm.
about that on your
Yeah.
podcast?
Mhm.
We have no room for anything else.
Yeah, it's true.
So, and focusing on that good really does weed out the bad just naturally because you're full. So,
Yeah.
It's so true. So true. Thank you guys.
yeah, thanks.
Thanks, Elle. Have we convinced
luck,
you?
everyone.
Are you gonna go back
I'll
home?
let you know. Back next year, guys.
I love it. I love it. Thank you for listening to Eat Meat Sparingly, a Word of Wisdom podcast. I'm your host, Ali Essig. And if you need more help and support with transitioning to eating more plants, you can lose weight and improve your gut health and just reduce your risk of chronic disease, then make sure to check out my PlantWise membership. That's PlantWhys, because I like to teach the why behind eating more plants. But if all you need is just a couple more delicious recipes that feed your family and everyone loves, and not to mention super simple and easy, then make sure to check out my YouTube channel, which is also PlantWhys, PlantWhys. Hope to see you there.